made it through, he ghosted.
It was a cold, misty night when Sarah decided to visit the old cemetery at the edge of town. She had heard whispers about it since childhood, stories of strange happenings and eerie events. But tonight, she needed closure. Her best friend, Lily, had passed away a week ago, and Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that Lily's spirit was still somewhere nearby. The cemetery had been abandoned for decades, its tombstones leaning like crooked teeth in the dark. Sarah's boots crunched on the gravel path as she walked, her breath fogging in the cold air. The full moon cast an eerie glow over the graves. She reached Lily's plot, the one she had marked in her heart forever. The flowers she had brought earlier were wilting now. But something was wrong. As Sarah knelt to place new flowers, she noticed the name engraved on the headstone, Margaret Wilkins. The name wasn't hers. A chill ran down Sarah's spine. She quickly checked the date of death, October 5th, 1922. Lily had passed only days ago, yet this grave had a name much older. Sarah's heart raced. She knew she was at the right plot. The funeral had been held here just a week ago. With trembling hands, she stood and scanned the surrounding graves. Could it be a mistake? Maybe the gravestone had been replaced? She stepped away and walked toward the caretaker's shed, hoping someone might explain. As Sarah walked deeper into the cemetery, the air grew heavier. The silence was suffocating, broken only by the occasional rustling of leaves. Suddenly, she heard a soft whisper, "Sarah." She froze. "Sarah, help me." The voice was unmistakable, Lily's voice, her breath caught. "Lily?" Sarah whispered into the night, her voice shaking. "Come back, Sarah." It was coming from the grave. Sarah spun around, her pulse pounding in her ears. She rushed back to the grave, only to find it disturbed. The earth was freshly dug, as though someone, or something, had been trying to claw its way out. The flowers were scattered across the ground. Then, in the moonlight, Sarah saw it, a hand. A pale, cold hand reaching up from the grave. Her heart dropped as the hand pulled itself from the dirt, followed by an arm, then a shoulder. It was a woman, her face twisted in agony, her hollow eyes fixed on Sarah. The woman wasn't Lily. This was someone else, someone who had been buried in the wrong grave. The woman reached towards Sarah, her bony fingers scraping the earth, dragging herself closer. The air grew colder and the whispering voice grew louder, desperate. "Help me, please." Panicking, Sarah turned to run, but the ground beneath her feet seemed to shift. The mist thickened, curling around her legs, making it harder to breathe. She stumbled, her vision clouded with terror. In a last-ditch effort, Sarah reached the caretaker's shed and pounded on the door. The door creaked open, revealing an old man. His eyes widened in shock when he saw her. "Please, help me. There's something wrong with the grave," Sarah cried. The man stared at her, pale and trembling. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this," he muttered. "You shouldn't be here. The wrong grave, the wrong place." "Who is she?" Sarah gasped. "Who was buried there?" The man hesitated. "Margaret Wilkins. She was buried in that grave, but it wasn't supposed to be hers. The grave, it was meant for someone else." Before Sarah could speak, the door slammed shut, leaving her standing outside in the cold, her heart pounding. She turned back to the grave, only to find it empty. The hand, the woman, everything was gone. Sarah never returned to the cemetery. She couldn't shake the image of that twisted face, the woman who had been buried in the wrong grave. But she knew one thing for certain. The spirits of the cemetery were restless, and they weren't done yet. And deep in the earth, Margaret Wilkins still waited for someone to take her place.